Let's dive into something that, well, a lot of us might feel deep down. We're calling it the burden of the boundless mind. We're going to get into what it really means when your brain just will not stop.
I mean, really, does this feel familiar to you? That constant buzz in the background? The inner narrator that's just always on, churning away at ideas, worries, and what-ifs, even when all you want is just a little quiet.
You know, it usually starts with something small, right? Just a little practical thought that pops into your head uninvited. Did I lock the door? Did I send that email?
And then, literally a second later, bam! Your brain just pivots to something huge and cosmic. You're standing there trying to make coffee, and suddenly you're deep diving into the mechanics of black holes. The whiplash is real.
And of course, then comes the replay. That social postmortem, right? Your mind hits rewind and starts analyzing every single word, every look someone gave you, just scanning for a mistake. This constant, chaotic spin cycle of thoughts, man, it can be absolutely draining.
So what is this? Well, we can call it the race inside your head. And it's so much more than just being a worrier or an overthinker. For a lot of people, this is just their baseline, their fundamental state of being. And it's about time we started looking at it a little differently.
And I really want you to let this sink in for a second. If any of this is ringing true for you, there is nothing wrong with you. This isn't a flaw. It's not a bug that needs fixing. Think of it more like it's a core feature of a completely different kind of mental operating system, one that's just wired for high-speed, constant processing.
Okay, so what is the nature of a boundless mind, then? What's it actually made of? Let's break it down.
So here's a working definition for us. At its core, the boundless mind is a brain that's characterized by three main things. First, high reactivity, to pretty much everything, inside and out. Second, this really intense, almost unstoppable curiosity. And third, this incredible capacity for super complex, deep, and often abstract thinking.
And what does that actually look like in real life? Well, you might recognize a few of these traits. There's that intense curiosity that has you falling down internet rabbit holes at 2 a.m. A high sensitivity, not just to your surroundings, but to other people's feelings. Thinking patterns that aren't just A to B to C, but more like a giant interconnected web. A really deep emotional capacity. And, underneath it all, this constant, nagging drive to understand everything.
And this right here, this brings us to the central paradox of this whole thing. Because for every amazing quality this kind of mind has, there's a flip side, a challenge that comes with it. It really is both a gift and a burden. And this table just lays it all out, doesn't it? The gifts are incredible, right? You've got this amazing creativity that comes from connecting ideas nobody else sees. You can solve problems in a heartbeat because you see them from 10 different angles, and you can form these incredibly deep, meaningful connections with people. It is a rich, rich inner world. But each gift has its weight. That creativity, it can lead straight to overstimulation and burnout. That rapid problem solving, it can turn into analysis paralysis where you can't make a decision. And those deep connections, they can sometimes feel some pretty heavy existential anxiety. That rich inner world can frankly make you feel totally misunderstood.
So this leads us to a whole new metaphor, a better way to think about this. This isn't some software bug you need to patch, it's a high-performance engine. And think about it, you wouldn't treat a Formula One engine the same way you treat the engine in your lawnmower, would you? Of course not. It needs different fuel, different maintenance, and you have to really understand how it works to get the most out of it without it just overheating.
Which brings us to our final and honestly our most important section, living with the flow. See, the goal isn't to shut the engine off or to dam the river. It's about learning how to work with its incredible power.
I just love this quote because it nails the new approach perfectly. Look, you can't tame a hurricane, and trying to shut down this kind of mind is just as pointless and way more exhausting. The real work isn't trying to tame the storm. The real work is in becoming a better sailor. It's about building a better boat, finding coping strategies, setting boundaries, figuring out what you need, and then learning how to navigate those powerful, powerful currents of your own mind.
So at the end of the day, it all starts with understanding. Just knowing why your mind works the way it does, that's the first and maybe the most powerful step you can take. It lets you shift from being hard on yourself to having some compassion for yourself. And that's when you can start to really harness the incredible power you have without being totally consumed by its weight.
So this isn't some kind of affliction, it's just a different set of wiring with its own amazing advantages and its own unique challenges. And now that you can maybe see it for what it is, both the gift and the burden, the real question becomes a personal one.
How will you choose to honor that incredible gift, and how will you learn to better carry its weight?